iTunes. Also available at Amazon and iTunes. The critically acclaimed documentary DVD, Hidden Colors. Well, it's available on Amazon, not iTunes yet, but it's available on Amazon. You get the DVD Hidden Colors if you don't have it, or go to hiddencolorsfilm.com. We're making Hidden Colors 2 real crisp right now. You guys need to go to YouTube, type in Hidden Colors 2 so you can see that phenomenal trailer. The trailer is off the chain. The trailer is just getting thousands and thousands of hits every day, sparking controversy, but the game is real tight in there. And Hidden Colors 2, we're looking to probably release it in theaters around October. That's what we're looking at right now, because a lot of people have been asking me about it. But we're looking at October for Hidden Colors 2 to be released in select theaters around the country. We will keep you guys posted on that. Let me put on some Mackin music. And not only will Hidden Colors 2 be released around the country, we're going to have it released in the UK. We're working with the Black Cinema Club out there. They're going to have screenings out there in theaters. So it's going to be an international thing. It's going to be real hot. So you guys do not want to miss that. We're trying to get it screened in some African countries as well, ladies and gentlemen. Because the thing is, you know what, a lot of times, a lot of us assume that our African brothers and sisters are familiar with the history. And a lot of times they're not really familiar with it either. Unfortunately, and they're from the motherland, but you have to understand a lot of the misinformation is being spread there first. So a lot of our African brothers and sisters, we need to put them up on game, put them up on the real history as well. Because some of our African brothers and sisters, not all, but some of them, especially the ones that come over here or go to the UK, they're just as brainwashed as some of these brothers and sisters that grew up out here. Some of them have that black white supremacist mindset. Not all, I'm not saying all, and I'm not making a generalization, but I'm saying I've seen some. Especially the ones, some of these African sisters or brothers, but a lot of these African sisters who end up dating like a white guy or something, they really get that black white supremacist mentality. Y'all brothers know what I'm talking about. Some of you brothers have tried to talk to one of these sisters that you can tell they're from the motherland, they're from Africa, they're from Kenya, Ghana, somewhere, and then you try to spit at them using the Hotep game, trying to appeal to them on a Pan-Africanist level. They'll look at you like you crazy. You'll step to them like, hey, sister, how you doing? I see you from the motherland, or I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm into my African studies. I'm looking for a nice sister from the motherland to really bond with, to build with, and I respect everything about you as the queen mother, and I just want to get to know you. She look back at him like, nigga, please. I am dating a white man. Get out of my face. Cuss your ass out. And go home and tell her white man on you. Guess what, Todd? An ashy nigga tried to talk to me today. Hey, what did he say to you, okay? He tried to get my phone number. I told that nigga to go. So you got to be careful. Some of our African brothers and sisters are just as brainwashed. That's why I want to get this information over to Africa. Me, my assistant Ola, we were looking at movie theaters over there, and we're looking at radio stations to promote. So we're trying to really get this thing popping off on a global level. And again, I'm just generalizing. I'm saying not all of our brothers over there are brainwashed, because a lot of them know what the game is. A lot of them are hip to the game, but again, some are not. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. Today is going to be a very good show. I'm going to have an interview from the brother named Dan Freeman. He wrote the book called How to Make $1 Out of 15 Cents. I talked about his book before on the show. And brothers just need to know and hear information about stepping their finance game up, because that's very important with us in this day and age. Understanding finances to a certain degree, and from a real dude's perspective, because a lot of times when we talk about finances, it seems corny, stiff, dry, stuffy. So Dan Freeman is a real dude. The brother's originally from Compton, straight up and down dude. He talks about finances on a real matter-of-fact way that's not talking over your head, and a lot of you cats will be able to respect that. So I'm going to have a cool interview with him a little later on in the show. And also I want to talk about dirty macking that goes on in the dating game. We're going to get into that later. One thing I want to touch on before I get into the hot fire. There's a lot of things going on the internet with this cats getting jumped. I saw some on the internet today where is a radio DJ in New York, Charlemagne from, I think it's Hot 105, something like that, 105.7, something like that in New York. Shout out to Angela Yee. He's on the air with Angela Yee, and Angela Yee is my homegirl. I love Angela. I've been on her show when she was doing the show on Sirius many times. Lovely, lovely young lady. And the brother Charlemagne, they done jumped him. Well, they tried to jump the guy. They swung on him this morning outside of the radio station. And a couple of days ago out here on the West Coast, a rapper by the name of 40 Glock, he ended up getting jumped by the rapper Game and his crew, and that's on the internet. So a lot of these cats, there's a lot of jumping going on out here. And what's happening is that it's retaliation for a lot of reckless stuff that's being said. A lot of these cats, man, get reputations for being real reckless at the mouth or doing real reckless deeds, and then they end up getting caught slipping. And that's part of the game. I say this to all my players out here, man. Don't have a reckless mouthpiece to get put on. We need to cut that bullshit out, man, because there's a lot of real flagrant shit going on out here in the streets, man. Cats are just saying whatever, talking greasy, talking reckless to get put on, and you think that the pendulum is not going to swing back the other way. That shit comes back on you, man. How you got in the game is how you going to get up out the game. Cats have to understand that. A lot of these cats, man, get to doing all this stuff on film, and you get a reputation. Even the rapper 50 Cent. A lot of people try to use the 50 Cent model, where 50 Cent came in the game dissing cats to get put on. All right, he got put on, but the dude got shot and damn near killed. He was the lucky one. So that's not the way to go. It ain't really worth all that. You get put on and cats are busting on you. Or cats are plotting on you outside of where you work. Cats are plotting on you outside of parties and clubs. It's just not worth it, man. You ain't got to get in the game like that. First of all, that shit is real gimmicky. Anyway, you don't need to get into the game with gimmicks. If you got a tight mouthpiece, you can spit hot fire, you got some shit popping off. Your talent is your gimmick. You understand that? Let your talent be your gimmick. You don't need all that gimmicky bullshit to get on. Just spit what you need to spit. Say what you need to say, and if it's thorough, cats will fuck with you. But the whole gossip thing and talking slick, talking reckless, it's going to come back on you. It's not worth it. It's not worth risking your life over some petty bullshit, because cats take stuff like that personally. Your reputation is just constantly talking greasy about cats. Or your reputation is constantly picking street fights. The streets are always watching. It comes back on you. And I say that to any cat out there who's trying to get in the game like that, because that's the way a lot of cats are trying to get in the game. You have tons of videos out here, dudes talking reckless about other rappers, dudes talking reckless about other DJs. I don't get into that. Cats need to shut that bullshit down. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, because we got bigger fish to fry, especially with black folks. We got much bigger fish to fry than to be all out in the streets with this nonsense. So y'all chill out on that bullshit, and let's keep it PI, let's keep it Mac-ish, and let's be about some paper and not trying to use gimmicks and bullshit to get on in the game. And I digress. Now, shout out to my players who was on my Ustream show. I had a cat call into my Ustream show the other night, and is a brother from Canada. He was talking about a situation that was going on with him and a young lady that he was trying to get with. There was a young lady that he wanted to go out with. He met with her, and he violated one of the rules that I've taught. He violated one of the rules that I taught my players. When you meet a woman, never go to a place or an event with her that she invites you to right when you meet her. I done talked about this several times on the show. Now, I want all you players, if I give advice, I've given damn near 400 shows of hot fire, thorough advice. All I ask is that you take heed to it. You got to take heed to some of the advice that I'm giving you. I'm not telling you nothing that's not going to work for you. I'm telling you stuff that's been tried and proven. Now, in the same token, sometimes I understand that cats have to listen to the advice and then they have to see if it's true. They have to test and see and kind of go against the grain just to see if they can get away with escaping the rules. In cases like that, you learn the game better. The game becomes more real because when you read it and then you experience it, then you internalize it and then you learn from that. So hopefully, I hope some cats get down like that. But if you keep repeating the same thing over and over, that means you ain't trying to learn something. You're not trying to learn the game. It's going in one and out the other. But what happened with the young man, he violated a rule, which again, never go out to an event that a woman invites you to when she just met you, because usually she's trying to make somebody jealous. And sure enough, he met this woman. She invited him to a poetry slam or whatever, some kind of poetry event. He said she was one of those herbal tea chicks. Sure enough, he went to the event, and guess what happened? She's at the event flirting with other dudes, dancing with other dudes, booty shaking with other dudes, and he's standing up here looking like a sucker. Not only that, when it was time to leave, some of the dudes that she was flirting with, he ended up having to ride home with them, and she's all up in the dude's lap in the back seat. She's up in the other nigga's lap in the back seat. Now, this guy told us this on Ustream Live last Sunday. You can hear it on my Ustream page. So this dude has lost all of his dignity fucking around with one of these herbal tea chicks because he wanted to ignore the rules of the game. That's a major violation. So I'm just saying that to say this, fellas, if you listen to my show on a regular, take heed to the advice. Don't listen to the show and then do the opposite of what I told you and then complain that you got that ass toe up emotionally. Because this guy went out like a big ass sucker. Also, number two, I've told you guys over and over again about those herbal tea chicks, those bohemian chicks. Those are some of the fakest broads in the game. I really, really wish you guys stop falling for that fake bohemian bullshit. Those herbal tea drinking, head wrap wearing, Erykah Badu listening to herbal tea chicks are the biggest freaks in the damn game. I really wish y'all get that through your heads. When y'all see these chicks with their little herbal tea and incense and all that, automatically you think you have to treat them special or roll out the red carpet for them. Those are some of the biggest freaks out there. They suck more dick than anybody in the neighborhood. You understand that? Don't let the whole Erykah Badu thing or the Erykah Badu vibe fool you. Because look at Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu is a freak. I've talked about her several times. She's doing videos naked. She did that last video with her and her sister. They're naked in a bowl of milk. It was some video they did. It was a real disgusting video. It was real weird and people got real freaked out about it. It's on the internet. It was Erykah Badu and her sister. The music is real weird and creepy. She's naked, putting glitter on her asshole, and she's bathing in blood and sperm. It's just real gross and crazy. She's naked with that big old coochie of hers. Erykah Badu has the biggest pussy in the industry. And it's not even a sexy looking coochie. It looked big and scary. She got that big coochie all in the camera. It's not fly. Erykah Badu's pussy looks like a $5 footlong from Subway. It's not sexy. It's gross. All that whole shit she got going on is gross, and it ain't fooling nobody. That's that freaky, fake bohemian bullshit that a lot of girls try to pull, and you guys need to stop going for that. You feel me? So I just wanted to get that rant off. I digress, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me get into the interview of my dude real quickly. I got an interview with the brother Dan Freeman, the author of the new book, How to Get $1 Out of 15 Cents. So let's get into that right about now. All right, what's going on, everybody? We got the player, brother Dan Freeman, on the phone, the author of the book, Making $1 Out of 15 Cents. What's going on with you, Dan?
I'm good, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Dan, where you located, brother?
I'm in Delaware now.
Okay.
At this moment.
Okay, so you doing the cross country hustling, I see.
Sometimes in Delaware, sometimes in Atlanta, Chicago. Home base is LA, but everywhere.
Absolutely. Now tell everybody what's the basic premise of your book, the new book that you have out now.
The premise of the book is, I grew up in Compton, you know what I'm saying, didn't have a lot of direction in life, and a lot of cats, we get to about 16, 17, 18, all the way through our 20s, and we don't know what to do with our money. And we think sometimes because we didn't, it didn't, manifest the way other cats would see it. You know what I'm saying? We get sidetracked and we take about 10, 15 years. Some cats never figure it out in their 40s and 50s, never figured it out.
Right.
So I wrote a book kind of saying, even if you had $10 an hour, you know what I'm saying, and you just started a security guard job, like I had one before. So, you know what I mean? Here's what you do with your money. Here's how it's going to grow, and here's what you should do, whether it be a car, a house, and trying to explain, you know what I'm saying, why the other side of the coin, it might look like these cats got money, but they really in debt. You know what I'm saying? They really don't got real money. They're lying,
Absolutely.
kind of walking around with big credit cards. Big credit cards don't mean you got big money. Just mean you got big credit cards. You know what I'm saying?
So for a guy who's not really making a lot, because a lot of these guys out here, they think that you have to have a lot of money in order to invest and stack your money up. And how true is that?
You don't really need a lot of money, man. You really need a basic plan because, what you have at 17, you know what I'm saying, it shouldn't be what you have at 27. It shouldn't be what you have at 37. So you just need to make the proper moves with the chips you have in your pocket right now. You know what I mean? You can't just I can't be, tricking and going out and getting a 5 Series when all I really got is a $12 an hour job.
Right.
So I was trying to give a plan and say, look, just fall back for a little bit, maybe a year or 2 years, and, stack your chips, and then you'll be clear and free. And then you can go, like I tell people all the time, you can go trick like the best of them if you want after that moment. You know what I'm saying? But at this time, it's just a kind of checking yourself and say, I know things are going to get better. You know what I'm saying? Let me not, what I tell all the young cats, I always say, don't let your young man mind fuck up your grown man money.
Exactly.
The things you do when you're young could really set you back 10 years. When you could have really been out of the game, you made a critical mistake by letting your emotions say, I need to be out here fronting like everybody else. And like I said, I grew up in L.A. too.
Yeah.
I know the struggles of somebody coming around the corner with a Corolla when everybody else is driving a 3 Series or a 5 Series.
Exactly.
You got friends that selling dope and all kind of stuff floating around you, and you the dude who trying to, keep it 100 and kind of build something. So I wanted to give people a plan, because without that plan, you just think you sacrificing for nothing. Absolutely. I want to give them something that they can sacrifice and get something.
Now, in your book, you were talking about things that people can invest in that doesn't cost a lot of money, like savings bonds.
Right.
You were talking about IRAs, CDs. For a guy who is making like $12 an hour, he doesn't have a lot of money, but he wants to stack up the money he does have. What's the best investment for a brother like that?
I think the best investment is the bonds because, $25, $50 or even $100 a month that you could put aside for a cable bill. If you do that for, 16, 20 years, you're going to end up with about, $63,000.
Okay.
And that's just you putting that money to the side. Now, we all going to get old no matter what you do. You know what I'm saying? Is we always going to get older no matter what. So it's just a matter of you saying, I might not ever put my money to the side, because everybody tries to put into a savings account, and that's just stupid, man. If I'm broke and I don't have a lot of money and I see my savings account get to 6 G's, I'm going to go trick it. I mean, it's just a natural thing that I see 6 G's sitting on the side and everybody going to Cancun or everybody going to, to Rio or something, and I see 6 G's on the side. So I wanted to make put in talking about the bonds, because I wanted cats to think it's out of your eyesight a little bit. Exactly. So it's not part of your regular chips, and that way you're going to feel better about doing something with it.
Absolutely. Now, let's say a guy comes across a nice little lick. A guy comes across a nice little insurance settlement. A guy gets a nice little tax refund. He gets about, let's say, $2,000 or $3,000, and he wants to flip that money. What's a good way to flip and invest that $2,000 or $3,000? Truth
be told, man, it's 2 or 3 things that every man has to deal with in his life, and if you can get them squared away, you won. First is your car payment. Okay. You know what I mean? The second is always going to be a mortgage or rent. If you can take those off the table, because that $3,000 might be enough for you to get a $50,000 home to put down on a home. That $50,000 home mortgage is only going to be about $200. You know what I mean? $200-$300. So now your $12 an hour job, which is about 2 G's a month, now you have $1,800 to flip instead of having $1,000. So it's just a matter of saying, I got this, I came up a little bit. Let me put it towards something that's just going to knock me out of paying rent. Because now if I get something for 50, 60, it falls to $300 a month, $400 a month. Now you got more room, more space. You actually got a real house. You're not, doing no apartments or nothing like that.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? You come up in the long run. It's just that you always got to think about what you're going to do with your money. You know what I mean? And have that plan and just execute. Because a lot of cats, like me, you see people who came up real quick and they lost it all.
Absolutely.
And you're just sitting there thinking, let's do this with it or square. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have a condo set up, and you had 100 G's on you one time. We used to run to Vegas all the time, and I would come back with $5,000, or my boys come back with 15, 20 grand. And the first thing they go do is trick it on some rims, or you know what I mean, or a car or something like that. And you're like, man, we could have really came up. We could have really went and put down money on a house and really been out of this game.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Period. So it's just a matter of, go ahead.
Now, a lot of people, I've heard some people now say, well, it would be a bad investment to get a house. Some people say that right now in this market, it would be smarter to rent. And now, personally, I disagree with that. How would you feel about that statement?
I think they're stupid. And you know what I'm saying? Let's not mince words about the people who tell you what they heard and what they don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody, when I give a good example, when I came back from New York, I was coming back home. One of my boys who never came up on no money, first thing he told me was, man, I can get you somebody can help you get a house. Now this dude, they never had no money, but he can help you get a house. So your natural instinct saying, this dude don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Right.
For a lot of us, we don't stop, even our friends, to say, I'm not disrespecting you in any way, but I never seen you come up.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I never seen you do anything good with your money. You know what I'm saying? So why would I take your advice? So a lot of people talking about the housing and everything, they watch too much damn TV.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you keep watching TV every year, they telling you the recession is over. The shit ain't over yet, but every year, I swear to God, you could check the news, and they say it's over every damn time. It'll be over in June. It'll be over in April, next fall. They keep saying it over and over and over. But for cats, if you're really paying attention to money and what's going on, you make the decision based off what you actually see, not what these cats say. And so when you have someone saying they want a house or it's a bad time to get a house, why is it a bad time to get a house? They're lower than probably the majority of us who lived in L.A. we ever seen in our lives.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Why not sit there? It's just the cats want to come up and think they're investment bankers. This whole recession has made a whole bunch of suckers believe they know what money is.
Exactly.
And you have people who were flipping houses, and they didn't really know what they were doing. It's just, hey, man, when it's raining, it's pouring, when you want to roll in Vegas and you're hitting 7-7-7-7, people think you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
But you don't. So they keep cranking out that thing and say, I used to have 10 houses. But they were just rolling with the times. They weren't really coming up the way a tactical cat would do it in the right times when they know what to do with money. So I say always go buy a house, homie. I mean, go buy a condo. If you live in L.A., go buy one in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Get out of L.A. a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Go to the right areas and get you a small one-bedroom condo. When all this stuff turns around, you're going to be in the right spot. Every place near a beach in L.A. is good money, period.
Absolutely.
No matter where you are.
Absolutely. Now, how true is it? Because I've heard some people say, well, you can get money or you can get a home even if you had a foreclosure. You hear all these different stories. How true is that?
The thing is with the foreclosures, everybody gets reset for about 7 years.
Okay.
But in that 7-year game, you know what? If you got your money up, I mean, we all know money talks. So
Absolutely.
If you were to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to move out of L.A. a little bit and I'm going to live cheaper for a while. And if you stack up 10 G's or something, put some money to the side, you can come back to the game because the bank is going to see that you actually putting real dough down. They're not helping you. You actually showing up with 10, 15 G's saying, here, I know I was messed up in the past, but how about I put 10 of it down and I take the other 5 and we make the payments for the next 3 years off this 5. Mm-hmm. So now they're a little bit more comfortable, you know what I mean, making that deal with you. We just got to learn how to switch it up and say, you messed up, and every dude who messed up who got bad credit, you got to start talking in deals. Yes, you got to set up a kind of a thing to say, I'm going to put so much into it that your side of felon is almost impossible. And anyone who's kind of did deals before, that's what you got to do. I got to put so much into it that you come on board for 35%. I'm going to take 65%. That's how much I believe in what I'm doing. And if you talk in that fashion, You know what I'm saying? The banks want to make money because they got to give loans in order to get interest and make money off of your hustle.
Absolutely.
So you really got to understand right now, they just not giving you 80% deals, probably giving you a 35% deal. It's your job to come up with the other 65.
Yes, indeed.
You know what I mean? So this credit can always be overcome by money. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it really is when when you have a lot of money. No one's talking about credit at all. That's not even important.
Yeah, exactly. But I done walked off in car dealerships with no paperwork, nothing, enrolled.
Right.
You dig?
Right.
Especially out
Right.
here.
Because it's money.
Yeah, money talks. You go in there and throw down the right amount of money, they'll go ahead and write you right on up. You know?
Right.
But anyway, pardon words, man. Let everybody know where they can get your book, man, because your book is great. Your book is an easy read. It's a lot of good stuff in there just right away, man. The minute you crack it open, just a lot of good investment tips, just a lot of good financial information. Where can people get your book?
The book is always found at $15.com, DOLLAR15.com. And that's basically it. I didn't put it on Amazon. I didn't put it on any of those stuff because they want a 30% deal. Yeah. I'm not giving nobody a 30% deal. Maybe a year from now.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
But for right now, this is my thing, and I want to make sure no one's taking a 30% deal without actually helping me do something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of present it and put it in with a million other books. But if I'm over here doing all this stuff and talking to you and talking to other people, I'm actually I'm creating my own buzz. So why would I give it to a cat who's not helping me? So it's always at $15.com. You'll find us at, Facebook /$15, Twitter /$15. And you know what I'm saying? But anything else, $15. And I ship out of Atlanta and LA. So no matter where you are, and even out of countries, to Abu Dhabi and Canada and all these other places now. But wherever you shipping from, wherever you at in country, I'm going to get it out to you in a short amount of time, period.
That's what's up, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you being on the show. I got to have you back, man, because a lot of cats ask for financial advice. So I want to have you back on to really drop some more game, player, all right?
Whenever you need me, man, just hit me up. And I want to say thanks to Olaf helped me to get this thing done. So I really appreciate it. I want to make sure I give him credit for all the work he did to get this thing to happen.
Ola's that dude. That's my assistant. Ola's that dude, man. But we appreciate you, man. Thanks for the call, player.
No problem. Talk to you later, man.
Peace. All right, that is the homie Dan Freeman right here on the Mac Lessons Radio Show. Now, let's get into some game. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, now, on today's show, I want to talk about Dirty Mackin. The pros and the cons of Dirty Mackin. And the reason I want to talk about this is because they have this show, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I call it hydrogel and hip hop because there's a bunch of sisters on there with these big hydrogel asses and these little skinny chicken legs. And Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, they have this one brother on there named Stevie J. The show is entertaining as hell with that brother on it. Now, it's a coon fest, of course, but it's an entertaining coon fest. Stevie J is very entertaining. Stevie J, he was a producer. He produced a lot of Biggie stuff, a lot of stuff for Bad Boy Records, and he's down in Atlanta, and there's a lot of other Atlanta rappers and stuff on the show, and he's dealing with a couple of these ladies on there, and Stevie J is the epitome of a dirty Mac. And he represents a lot of dirty Macs that's out there. Now, Stevie J, he has a baby mom on there. He's messing with this other chick, and I don't know how staged this stuff is, but I can tell this dude might be on one. He's dating, he got his baby mom, he's dating this chick on the side, and he done got the chick on the side pregnant, and he's just bouncing back and forth between them, and his attitude is just real cavalier and nonchalant about it. And the guy has like 4 or 5 other baby mamas. It's just real crazy, real typical Dirty Mac shit. Real typical Dirty Mac shit. And speaking of Atlanta hip hop, this chick, as a chick named Jocelyn, I don't know what kind of accent this motherfucker has. This chick has like a Puerto Rican accent mixed with a Southern accent mixed with hood rat. I don't know what. I ain't never heard a motherfucker with an accent like this, but she's funny. Everything. Do you love me, Stevie? Just real crazy accent. But the show is a hot mess, and it's entertaining as hell because Stevie J, his reactions to everything is just real cold, just real dirty Mac-ish. And the thing is, something like that, it could work, but it always turns around and bites you in the ass. You don't want to be a dirty Mac. You don't want to have dirty Mac tendencies. See, there's a difference between being cold and being a dirty Mac. To be a good player, you got to be cold sometimes. You got to know how to turn your emotions off. You know how to control your emotions. You got to control them by turning them on and turning them off at will. Like if a female steps to you and tries to put you in a trick bag or tries to put you in a simp bag, you have to know how to come at her from a logical perspective and not an emotional perspective. That's just being cold with your game. That's being thorough with your game. You're being maneuverable with your game. Like you can be a nice guy, and sometimes women might take that nice guy vibe for weakness, and they might try to put you in a trick bag. So they might look at you like, okay, look, you seem like a nice dude. Why don't you help a bitch out with this rent? So a thorough player knows how to snap right out of that nice guy role and be like, no, I can't do that. No, I can't rock with you on that. You got to know how to turn the game down cold when it gets to that level. But because some dudes can't do that. Some dudes don't know how to get cold-blooded with that because they don't want to be offensive. They don't want to rock the boat. So if a female steps to you and tries to see what she can get up out of you, if she keeps talking and spitting, she gets something out of you eventually. She's like, hey, I need help with this phone bill. You know, I normally don't ask a dude to help me out, but I really need some help with this bill. And a guy who ain't thorough with his game will be like, well, okay, I guess it won't hurt. You know what I'm saying? And that women look at that as a sign of weakness when they can manipulate a dude like that. So a dude with some real good game about himself will be like, no, I can't really fuck with you like that. Now, if you still want to rock, we can rock. But if you have a problem with me not tricking off no rent money, well, deuces. Now, if you can't do that, you can't be no stone to the game player. And again, now that's not dirty macking. That's just kind of sticking by your principles, and you're going to be cold-blooded if that's what it takes to stick by your principles in the game. So you have to ask yourself some thorough questions. Can you be cold-blooded with this game? Can you put a motherfucker up out your car? That's not dirty macking, because sometimes a person deserves to get put out. And I'm the king of putting a motherfucker up out the car. I'll put your ass out the car on the freeway. Some cats ain't built like that. Some cats are just too chivalrous for that. I'm not that dude. I will put your ass out and you be having a taxi cab confession about my ass. They be like, hey, what happened to you? I had to get in this cab because this nigga named Tariq put me out. You dig what I'm saying? So that's just being cold, and you're cold to people who deserve to see that side of you. That's just turning your emotions on and off. But the thing is, a dirty Mac turns those emotions off and he leaves them off. That's a real big difference. A lot of those emotions weren't even there to begin with. That compassion wasn't there. They were pretending to have compassion, but a lot of those dirty Macs, that emotion ain't there. You can see it in their eyes, and that their actions go beyond being cold-blooded. It goes to being scandalous. See, the thing is, man, when you deal with women sometimes, a lot of dudes, they have the emotion of neediness. Neediness is an emotion. A lot of dudes have the emotion of being needy. And when you have that needy emotion, a lot of cats don't know how to turn that off. A lot of cats don't know how to check that emotion, and then women use that against them. So to be a thorough player, you got to know how to control that. But the thing is, a dirty Mac, again, comes in the game either with little emotion or no emotion to begin with. And the whole premise of their game is to come at you from all types of manipulative angles to get whatever agenda that they need satisfied. Their agenda is to get over. A lot of their agenda is very passive aggressive. Now let's look into what makes a dirty Mac. What makes a dude scandalous? Because women all you women out there listening, you dated a dirty Mac before. You dated a nigga that did you cold. Every woman out here, if you've dated more than 3 guys in your life, One of those niggas was a dirty Mac. That nigga done did you scandalous. Some of you women who are older, like in their 30s, 40s, you might have dated a couple of dirty Macs. Niggas who came across real cool and just did you real greasy. Just for the sake of doing some greasy shit. Niggas then stole some money from you. Niggas then ran up your credit. Niggas then got in your car and picked up another broad and fucked in the car. Niggas then fucked the chick in your house. You know what I'm talking about, ladies. Niggas who done had sex with your homegirl, your cousin, your friend. Just some real flagrant shit. And you think, you're like, what makes a nigga like this? And I know several dirty Macs. I know some niggas who are dead scandalous. There was a cat who emailed me the other day. A dirty Mac. He's living with his lady. He has a lady. He loves his lady, but it's this Korean chick on the side that he met. He's banging this Korean girl on the side, and now the Korean girl is going back home, and she done bought him a plane ticket to go to Korea to kick it with her and her family for like a week or so, and he's thinking about going over to Korea behind his woman's back. Now, nigga, that's some international dirty macking. And I'm telling the dude, don't go that route, man. I can understand niggas getting a little motel somewhere around the corner, but this nigga talking about going across another hemisphere to do some shit he ain't supposed to do. If you gonna do your dirt, nigga, keep your dirt domestic if you can do that. How does that look if your lady found out that you've been in another country cupcaking with another broad? That's real flagrant. But we have the kind of dirty macking out here, man, that needs to be checked because it comes back and it bites you on the ass. So you don't want to have that kind of vibe. But let's look into some of the things that turn the dude into a dirty Mac, because there's 5 things that create the dirty Mac mentality with a lot of these guys. There's 5 things that really make these dudes turn off their emotions and deal with women on a purely scandalous level. Now, number 1, the first thing that turns a dude into a dirty Mac is drugs. A lot of times when a dude is on that narcotic, cocaine, crack, or big time weed hit, this makes him turn his emotions off, because you're not dealing with the person, you're not dealing with the emotion, you're dealing with the drug. So a cat with that drug addict mentality, they're going to be scandalous. They don't give a damn. So you're dealing with that narcotic, and that's one of the main culprits of a guy being a dirty Mac. You're dealing with a guy who's just real scandalous with his game. Now, number 2, a guy who was abused as a kid. That's another reason why a lot of cats will have that scandalous mentality, because they were abused, they were hurt, and that has made them cold-blooded growing up. And they take out the abuse they had onto women. They project that abuse on women, and their whole thing is getting over. Because a lot of times these dudes were probably abused by their mother or their grandmother, so they really take that shit out on women. A lot of these gorilla pimp niggas were abused by their mothers or grandmothers when they were young. Now, number 3, if a dude was abandoned, you have to see if a dude was raised in foster care, if a guy was an orphan, a guy was dropped off at a church or some shit when he was a kid, or abandoned. Dudes who were abandoned, the motherless child mentality, a lot of these dudes grow up to be dirty Macs because they have this me against the world mentality. It's like, I gotta do whatever I gotta do to make it in this world on my own. So if being a scandalous is what it is, then that's what it is. So you have to look into these characteristics to understand the kind of guy you're dealing with. Or fellas, if that's how you've been getting down, you gotta look into your background and learn how to check that and understand the root of your behavior. Now, number 4, the 4 type of background that makes a guy a dirty Mac is a dude who has been played by a woman and didn't learn from it. Notice I say a guy who didn't learn from it, because all of us get played by women. We've all been dissed, we've all been played, we've all been lied to. But the average dude, if he's smart, he'll learn from that. He said, okay, well, you know, I dated this woman, I didn't look out for these signs, this happened, now I'm gonna look out for these signs from now on, and I won't be played again. But some dudes, they put a lot of energy, they put a lot of emotion, they put a lot of extras into a woman, and it turns out that she's playing them, she done cheated on them, she done lied to them, and that makes these niggas complete dirty Macs for the rest of their lives. they vow to never go out like that again. So they take an offensive approach to being scandalous instead of a defensive approach. They go out and play before they get played. They are scandalous before they get scandalized. So you got to watch out for that. And players, you got to check yourself if you get down like that. And number 5, a guy who is in survival mode, being in a financial situation. These are the kind of guys who become dirty Macs too, because when you're in a financial situation, like you're about to get evicted, you're about to get put out your house, something's about to happen to you. So you got to think fast, and you got to try to get with somebody who can help you financially. So you're in survival mode. And I know a lot of guys who are dirty Macs who are in these situations. They're living with chicks that they really don't want to live with, but the female is helping them out financially. They had to move into the woman's house because they lost their job, or they just got out of jail, or they need a place to stay. They need a female who has a car. So they're in survival mode. So they're not thinking in terms of compassion or morality. They're just thinking that they need to get over until they can get back on their feet. And these are the big dirty Macs out there. And that's another thing, men and women, you never get in a situation with somebody who is needy. You never get into a situation with somebody who's desperate for money or desperate for some kind of tangibles. Because when somebody's desperate, when you catch them in a moment of desperation, all morality goes out of the window. They're just there to get what they need to get right at that moment. So they'll lie, sneak, pretend, or do whatever they need to do to get whatever they need satisfied. That's why a lot of my pimp buddies, they always say, you never get a hoe who's desperate for money. When you pimping, that's one of the pimp rules. Because a lot of people think pimps get these needy runaways and they get these girls who need drugs and all that old bullshit. That's a big misconception. Real PIs, real pimps, you do not get a girl who's desperate for money. Because when a chick is desperate for money, that makes her scandalous. So she's just going to steal from everybody. She's going to try to get over on everybody. She's not thinking in terms of respect for the game, understanding the game, knowledge of the game, learning the ism, which is what a good hoe is supposed to do. You want a good hoe who's going to be susceptible to the game you're giving her so she can manifest that game with her actions. But a chick who's in desperate survival mode, she ain't thinking like that. She's thinking, okay, I'm going to do what I need to do to get my next hit. Then I'm going to go hit these streets again and go find another pimp. I'm going to do what I need to do to get this rent paid, get my rent paid. Then I'm going to go back to this other nigga I've been fucking with. So they're thinking in those terms. They're thinking scandalously because they're desperate. So again, in any situation, man or woman, you don't want to get with anybody who's in a situation of desperateness or desperation. And all my players out there, man, the dirty Mackin thing, it messes up your reputation. You want to be true to the game. You want to have integrity in the game you spit. You don't want to be out here dirty Mackin, especially if you live in a small city, because word gets out about the dirty Macs. When you do the wrong thing, hell, if you do the right thing, people will still try to shit on you. If you save a bucket of kittens every day, if you help Boy Scouts out every day, people will still try to find something slick to say. But if you're doing something slick and you're doing something flagrant and you're doing something foul, people are going to run amok with running your name in the dirt. And that's not a good look if you live in a small city, because you're going to play yourself out and your reputation is going to be shot. And eventually people are going to try to get at you on some revenge retaliation shit. And that's not what you want. The pendulum will always swing back to the other side if you're scandalous, dirty, and flagrant with your game. So all my players, stay true to the game, and the game will stay true to you. That's been today's episode of the Mac Lessons Radio Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to check out MacLessons.com. That's where you can get all my pay-per-view specials, a lot of good game on those pay-per-view specials. And don't forget to get the Hidden Colors DVD and the Live in Miami DVD, the Tariq Elite Live in Atlanta DVD, all my good game DVDs. I will holler at you guys this Sunday on Ustream. Peace.